Hey guys, this is Vu here. So President Trump recently announced a 50-year mortgage, and the internet has not been happy. The two main criticisms of it has been one, it stretches the mortgage payments from 30 years to 50 years. And for most people who start buying their first house in their 30s and 40s, meaning most people will not own their home within their lifetime. Fair enough criticism. The other one is that your overall interest payments will be increased. So the reasoning behind this 50-year mortgage plan is to decrease your monthly payments, but at the same time, that extra 20 years will increase the overall interest rates. Today, we're going to find out if it's actually as bad as they say. We're going to analyze the numbers and follow along with me as we see if this is a good deal or not. You may be surprised. So let's take a look. So first things first, we'll go to my website, cookcountytaxcompare.com. And in here, there's the loan maturity tool. Let's click on it. And this allows you to see your monthly payments. So let's do an example of a $500,000 house. So you take a $500,000 mortgage. Most people would have a deposit and a down payment. But for the sake of simplicity, let's assume a $500,000 mortgage for 30 years. And at a 6% interest rate. So your monthly payment will be about $2,998, $3,000 per month. And for the life of 30 years, you'll be paying $580,000 in interest for a total payment of $1,080,000. So remember this number, $3,000. So what would happen if we were to do it for 50 years? So let's increase it to 50 years. Your monthly payment decreases from $3,000 to $2,632, saving you about $370. But the 50-year mortgage plan will probably have a slightly higher interest rate. And so this 6% interest rate, let's assume it increases to 6.25%. So now your monthly payment goes from $3,000 to $2,725. So rather than $360 that you'll be saving, you'll now be saving only $275 per month. Is that worth it? So overall, your interest paid goes from $560,000 to $1.1 million. So with an increase of almost double. So your overall payment will be $1.6 million. Now you'll be thinking, oh, this is not worth it because you'll be paying an extra $560,000 in interest. But let's take a look. So in here, we're going to have two scenarios. One is a 30-year scenario. One is a 50-year scenario. And in here, you can kind of see your 30-year payment that we just saw versus your 50-year payment that we just saw, which is $2,725. Now, what would happen is that for the 50-year payment, you'll be saving about $275 per month. And that's going to be invested in the stock market at an average of 9% per year. So in here, we're going to have a monthly payment of savings of $275 times 12 times 1.09 to the 49th power. So basically, if you were to invest it in the stock market, what would happen if you invested the whole amount into the market and leave it alone? So within 50 years, that $275 times 12, which is about 3,000 something, will be $223,000. And we could keep doing that. So on the second year, it will be $275 times 12 to the 50 minus 2, so 48th power. So that 3,000 something will become $204,000. So these are all in future value at the 50th year. So as you can see, you'll be saving less and less because the discounted amount will be less and less each year. So all the way up until the 50th year, which you'll be saving $3,275. And that's basically 275 times 12. And so this is the amount that you'll be saving if you invest your savings into the stock market. Now, over here is for the first 30 year, you're not saving anything because this is in comparison to the 50 year. But on the 31st year, you no longer have any mortgage payments. So we're going to assume that the $2,724 is going to be that you'll be paying to the mortgage will be directly invested to the stock market, and it'll be 2,725 times 12, and then invest in the stock market at 9% for 50 minus 31. So basically 20 years. Because this is all going to be the 50th year value. So that 2,725 times 12 will be $168,000 in the 50th year if directly invest in the stock market. So we can compare what happens. So at the 30 year, so this is a 6% interest rate for the 30 year, 6.25% interest rate for the 50 year. So the difference, which is this minus this, it's 0.25%. So in this scenario, the 30 years savings, you'll be saving $1.7 million. Versus if you had invested your $275 per month for 50 years, you'll be saving more than $2.67 million. So in this case, the 50-year mortgage, if you were to directly invest in the stock market, your entire savings, it would actually outperform your 30-year savings by $1 million. And so that is why this 50-year mortgage payment plan, if you're okay with having debt and not directly owning your home in 30 years for psychological reasons, but monetarily, analytically, you'll be saving yourself $1 million if you invest it directly in the stock market. So this 50-year mortgage is not actually as bad as people say it is. And for people like me who actually love debt, debt can be a very powerful tool to make you money. It's a multiplier. This is not a bad deal at all. And this is assuming that the difference in interest rate is 0.25%. So let's see what happens where the two values are the same. So if we were to increase it by, so let's say from the 30 year, we'll leave it at 6%. We'll do the 50 year, 6.5%. What happens? Oh, we'll look at this value. So now the 30 year, you'll be saving $1.7 million. The 50 year, $1.75 million. So almost the same. So when there's, for a $500,000 loan, when there's a 0.5% difference, that is pretty much the threshold where the 50 year and the 30 year would save you the exact same amount of money. In this case, I would take the 30 year because there is still that psychological impact of owning your own home and directly giving it to your children or your grandchildren. But monetarily, they're pretty much the same. So that is the takeaway, that if you are able to invest your savings and not spend it, invest in the stock market, on average, you would save money on the 50-year mortgage. This is Vu. I hope this is helpful. See you guys next time. Bye.